doesn't matter. Hi guys, we're posing for no reason.
There is a reason.
That was funny. Okay.
For the live picture.
Well, I have a thing, so it doesn't matter. Okay, ready?
Here we go.
Hello and welcome to Anatomy of Marriage Radio. I'm your host, Melanie Studley.
Good morning, my friends. My name is Seth Studley. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. Welcome to AOM Radio.
Every day on Anatomy of Marriage Radio, we do 4 things. We do our prayer, our gratitude, our intention with each other, and then we talk about our conversation of the day, our question of the day. And if you've got a question for our show, you can send it in to hello@anatomyofmarriage.com and get it answered on today's show. And we are always live on Facebook and Instagram, so hello to all of our Facebook peeps and Instagram peeps. We're so glad that you're here. And as always, our show is brought to you by Get Your Marriage On, the couples counseling app that's fast, fun, and never boring. Seth and I co-created it. Go to getyourmarriageon.com to check it out.
I thought that said Jenna Kutcher. I was like, what? Jenna Kutcher's watching?
I don't know who that even is, so...
The gold digger lady. Anyway, thanks guys for tuning in today.
My brain was thinking Ashton Kutcher.
No.
That was funny.
What's up, T?
That
Good
would
to see
be
you.
pretty rad. Anyway,
All right.
So we're so glad that you're here. Thanks for the totally random thing that got us off track. And let's pray.
It's part of our style. Thank you, Jesus, Creator, for your blessings. Thank you for all the things that you have given us and blessed us with. I pray that we find hope and opportunity and growth in every single aspect of our day today. I pray that the show blesses people who are listening and also is a blessing to us as well. Thank you. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. Why are you thankful for this dude right here on camera?
I am thankful that yesterday, oh my goodness gracious, you and my dad built our little entryway deck thing.
Yeah.
And I have been waiting, I've been so excited for that. And you guys did it yesterday, and I know it was hard work, and it cost a lot more than you were anticipating.
Oh, yes.
Because my dad was a part of it, which means it's got to be like 5 times bigger and 5 times more expensive, whatever.
Yeah.
I love my dad. So anyway, that is
Yeah.
something I'm just incredibly thankful for, your hard work and dedication.
You're welcome.
And
it looks nice like a breezeway.
Yes, it does look nice like a
Finally,
breezeway.
a real house.
Right.
I'm thankful that you started painting as well. We weren't going to, and it kind of wasn't as planned out, but you said, hey, go get some paint. I'm starting this stuff, and it looks wonderful so far. So thank you for that. You make our house look nice. Thank you.
You do too.
Yay.
Thank you. So we encourage you to do these prayers together with your partner. Tell them something that you're thankful for. Do your gratitude. And it has to be something specific, like you made bread. I loved it. Or you helped clean up the vomit when the dog puked. I loved that. Right? Be very specific.
Yeah.
And then...
And tell your spouse too, because it feels good to hear those little accolades. And
That's right.
yeah. Okay. Let's see.
Intentions.
Yeah, intentions. I am getting ready to get back to work today. We have another live with Deloney, and just, you know how you said, hey, let's step this up, you know, so I intend to have the kitchen clean, the things ready, just things that make our lives easier, and I know that I can serve you by doing that, so that is my intention.
Oh, that's great. So intentions are what you want to do with your behavior today based on something that didn't go well in the past. So my intention is, again, to just sort of rocket my brain from what I say I want. Oh, I want to be closer to Seth. Oh, I want to talk to him more. Oh, I want him to be happier. Oh, I want to kiss him more, to actually doing those things. Because
I am a person that does those things.
yeah,
right?
Instead of saying I want to, saying I am and I
Right.
do, and this is the thing. And so we write our intentions, the kids and I write our intentions on little bracelets that we bought on Amazon. They're just little, like, you know, concert bracelets. And so we will be doing our prayer, intention, gratitudes, goals with kids.
That's right.
And writing those down. So that's my intention, to actually manifest the garbage I say I want to do.
Okay, so this question is a good one today, and we got it. You can email your questions at hello@anatomyofmarriage.com. All right, we're going to dive in. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. What do I do if my husband doesn't take the time to sexually fulfill me? My husband is just happy to have a quickie, and let's be honest, I'm a girl, and I'm not in the right mindset, or if I'm not in the right mindset or haven't been stimulated in any way, I'm just not ready down there. And he still proceeds with sex and doesn't take the time to fulfill me before or after. Not nice. And for a girl, I have a pretty high sex drive, and to where I have needs too that need to be met. This is so jumbled. When we try to have talks around it, I feel like either nothing changes, or I sometimes can't even find the words to explain how and what I'm feeling, because in a weird way I feel embarrassed and selfish. Thanks.
It is not jumbled. Thank you for sending your question.
Yes.
the first thing I want to say, totes not related, but very important. You are not a girl. You
You're
are
a
a
woman.
woman. And I want you to think about the difference and why it's important. Anyhow, that's the first thing that came to my mind when I was reading that. I was like, ugh, I can't stand that she's calling herself a girl. I don't
Right.
know why. I have a weird thing about that. Anyway, so what are your
It's an empowerment thing.
initial thoughts on
Well,
that?
I wanted to hear what your thoughts were because you're a woman. Obviously, this could happen to you.
Right.
Thankfully, it doesn't.
Well, one of the things that comes to mind right off the bat is I just finished this actual very morning, Sex, God, and the Conservative Church by Dr. Tina Shermer Sellers, and it's such an amazing book. It is an actual textbook for a master's level therapist to read, so it is written for therapists who talk to their clients, but it's so approachable. It's slightly more expensive because it's a textbook, but I highly recommend it. Even in this, it says, the reason I'm bringing up her book specifically, it says, my husband is happy to just have a quickie, and let's be honest, I'm a girl, and if I'm not in the right mindset or haven't been stimulated in any way, I'm just not ready down there. Down there. What does that mean? What are we, 7? Like, you're not stimulated. You don't need to say down there. Like, the way that it's languaged is like, sex is bad, and I'm not ready down
So,
there.
bazillions of people, us included, before we didn't get around certain people and learn these things, then this is how we spoke about it because that's how it's spoken
Right.
about, right? So you're more wanting to do some like bio education around that. And
not even education. It's not like I'm saying she doesn't know what her vagina is. That is not what
Right.
I'm saying. But the fact that she's not using like terms like I'm just not aroused. That's just say that. You don't need to
Right.
say ready down there. Like it's more about I can sense her discomfort. I can sense that she's very uncomfortable saying of course he doesn't satisfy you because you can't even say the words. I'm not trying to shame you, so my gosh, please don't hear it that way. And I hope it does not come across that way. But there is something very
so maybe I want to slow you down for a minute. Maybe this is it's tempered for the question. You know, oh, what can I say? What can I can't say? Right? And everybody is not as comfortable as you are with words like this. Everyone isn't as comfortable as Dr. Tina Shermer Sellers is with this stuff. So I want to slow it down and say, hey, all right, I totally understand why you say down there or whatever. That's just how people talk about it, right?
Yeah.
So let's get to the helping piece around it. So me as a husband,
hold up.
all right.
I'm saying it is the discomfort that. So okay, no, I disagree with what you're saying.
Okay.
Let's just get to the how do you fix it? You don't fix it until
wanna
you
go farther
feel
back. Okay.
that discomfort. And it's Marissa Peer talks about the idea of make the unfamiliar familiar, right? We are shamed sexually. Our bodies are said. The culture says unless you're a supermodel, then you're too fat, too ugly. Don't talk about it. It's gross. You're perverted. You're a weirdo. But look at all the boobs in every movie. We could put them everywhere, right? So we get these horrendously conflictual ideas around sexuality and our bodies and what we can and cannot say.
Okay.
Especially if we're raised in the church, especially if we had a silent or shaming home, we are it's almost like saying, I'm gonna drive this car, but ooh, I shouldn't have said car. And then you're trying to like, should I open the? I gotta
press the
cover
gas.
my eyes, right? Like, yeah, so you're like you're covering your eyes and putting your arm out,
Right.
and you don't want to look at the car. Do not look at the
Then you
car.
crash.
But you want to drive it, and
Right.
you want to have it take you somewhere.
Okay, so
but
you're
you don't know
saying-
where you're going. You don't know what
All right, so you're saying, yeah, let's step back a minute, and if we're going to answer this question, so what if I read it in I'm gonna do a little exercise, okay? And I'm gonna insert words. This is not what this person emailed. What do I do if my husband doesn't take the time to help me have an orgasm? My husband is happy when he gets to orgasm, and let's be honest, I am a woman, and it takes a longer time for me to orgasm. I have to get wet and be in the right mindset, and haven't been aroused in any way. I'm just not ready in my vaginal and clitoral area. And he still proceeds to have sex, have intercourse with me, and then orgasms before I orgasm. So,
and I never get to orgasm.
Right.
And what is horrendous to me to think about this is that the idea, even when you worded it and you put it in that language, like super clinical,
I was
right?
kind of being a little bit silly, but it is actually
it's clarifying.
what the person is saying.
Right. When I think of the idea of like, that's why, I do MOPS, speak to women at the MOPS groups, like mothers of preschools groups, and it's amazing and I love it to death.
I do this group called Brooms. Have you heard of it?
Don't even. So one of the things that they say, lots of moms say in the MOPS group is, oh, my husband just wants a quickie. Oh, my husband just wants a quickie. When I hear the word quickie, you guys, this is all I can think of. Ow, that sounds awful.
Right.
Like that that sounds so unpleasant. And if a man, and I'm, again, general, sweeping, very broad terms, if a man had to go, like, put up with, imagine if you had to have sex that you didn't want to have, didn't enjoy, and didn't orgasm. Would you do it?
No.
No. Like, you never had an erection, you never had an orgasm. Go ahead. It's your duty as a man, right? Literally ask yourself, is that something you want to be giving to your wife?
No.
Here, let me have you not enjoy this at all whatsoever. It's uncomfortable.
I wouldn't want to serve you a plate of food that you didn't like.
It's like mashing it in your face. Like, oh, here's the tacos I ordered.
Right, so I want to read this question. Somebody says, I was made to feel perverted and physiologically sick for liking sex more than my ex. I talked, I begged, I pleaded, I bribed, nothing changed. In your case, either he wants to please you or doesn't, especially if you're telling him how. You have to swallow that shame and tell your husband what you need. If he won't listen and oblige, there's a whole new issue.
Right.
Exactly.
The idea of saying swallow that shame, I want to change that language. Let go of that shame. It is not something it's not yours to internalize and hold on to and keep. And it's almost, I'm pretty sure it's not something that this question asker is really aware of. I don't think that she is saying, oh, I feel so much shame, I don't whatever. I think it's like she's steeped in it and doesn't even know that it's there. So,
or maybe she may even be more, and hear me out on this, more sexually open and liberated than her husband, and she has to get him to come around and say, hey, because more likely than not, the husband, just like the wife, has been acculturated, like we all are, into like our idea of what sex is. Oh, it's for the man, it's just about orgasm, just egos and whatever kind of thing.
Well, yes, she says I have a pretty high sex drive.
Right,
Yeah.
which is absolutely 100% okay. So if you have that high sex drive, more likely than not, your husband is going to be like, hey, that is awesome. Anytime you want to go, let's go. Kind of thing, and you can tell your husband, I have a high sex drive, however, I don't have a high desire for a quickie, because I need more from that.
Great. That's great languaging right there.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe, so typically, biologically, physiologically, a man can orgasm way faster than a woman, right? Like literally, way faster. So a quickie is about the man, but say if there was a quickie in a woman's language, like, hey, a quickie isn't like, okay, we do all this lingerie stuff and like have candles at nighttime, that last an hour or an hour and a half. A quickie, in my idea, is, okay, hey, let's get our minds ready, and in the next 20 minutes, let's have sex, and we're both going to orgasm. That's a quickie in the middle of the day.
Yeah, that's a great reframe.
Reframing, reclaiming the idea of the whole quickie that is mutually enjoyable and beneficial to both partners.
Yeah, I love that.
And when I say that, I'm saying like a quickie as both people orgasm, not
right.
just one.
Yeah, I love that. And one of the things that it says is sort of why I brought up all these different things is it says when we try to have talks around it, I feel like either nothing changes or I sometimes can't even find the words to explain how and what I'm feeling because in a weird way I feel embarrassed and selfish. And so again, I go back to the language in that particular part of this question is saying, I grew up in a silent home. That's what it's telling me. I grew up where we don't talk about it. We have no language for it. So here's a perfect example. The other day when we were doing one of our episodes, I can't even remember what, but we were talking about sex on the show like a few days ago. And our daughter, who is 8, was in the kitchen like 10 feet away from us making cereal for breakfast. And it was interesting because we weren't saying anything inappropriate. She was not like, Mom and Dad are being weird. We were just educating, talking, answering questions. And we were like, this is fine. What we're saying is appropriate for the age that she's at because it's not anything weird. It's not anything too explicit for a child. But think about how differently our children are going to view intimacy, relationships, all of that stuff just because they hear it all day long. And it's very much like my best friend is a pediatrician, so she talks about biological terms, clinical terms, like everything. You do not call it a wee, you call it a penis. Her kids use literal clinical terms for every part of their body. It's hilarious.
Or if you're like us, we spell it backwards and it's called a CNIP.
A CNIP, yeah. And a mootorx. It's not your scrotum, it's your mootorx. So we're the opposite of the right thing to do, but it's really fun.
Think about it this way. As we talk about and normalize these things, replace sex and sexuality with money and finance. Replace, I don't know why your thing went
I need a new phone, that's why.
Replace,
Oh man.
no,
what a
just
bummer.
start it again. Replace sex and sexuality with I'm working on the car. I changed the oils. I wrote oils.
Oils. He changes the
essential oils.
mustard. Okay, he changes the oils. He
I
puts in some
rotate
myrrh.
the tires, and
Yeah.
the kids see us doing that all the time. Of course, they don't see us doing other physical things,
Mm-hmm.
but we're talking about it. Oh yeah. Oh, if you have a car, if you have money, if you have finances, if you have bills, you just take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing to be ashamed of. You talk about it. You're open about it. And you're within normal limits on that. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
just replace sex and sexuality with anything. Cleaning, vacuuming, painting the house, doing DIY projects kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and another thing too in this same question is there's obviously probably she grew up in a home where it was silent and maybe shaming because if she's saying I feel weird and I can't even find words to explain how and what I'm feeling because in a weird way I feel embarrassed and selfish. That means you're just not used to it. That
Right.
doesn't mean it's embarrassing and you should feel selfish. It just means you're not comfortable with it yet.
So let me say, hey Denise, let me say one thing. So I would like for this question to be answered with the clearing structure, okay? And we're going to walk through the clearing structure really quickly.
Yeah, let's not.
No? Why?
I like that idea. Go to getyourmarriageon.com and get the app and get the clearing structure in our app. But I actually don't want to do that right now because I think it's important.
You have more to say.
I think it's important to normalize what we're trying to figure out how to make it very clear why normalization matters in this context, right?
Right.
So, for example, with our kid, do you want to read that?
So someone says, oh, come on. I think some guys might be taught to believe that women can't enjoy sex. Hopefully she isn't dealing with something like...
Open. Our
Man,
phones are
so
just like
jacked
broken.
up
It
this
won't
morning.
even open.
Sorry, Jamie.
Okay.
Okay. Hopefully she isn't dealing with something like that. And Jamie's talking about to believe that women can't enjoy sex. Of course. Why can one
Let me set the record straight.
Enjoy it less or more?
Let me tell you about this. Let me tell you about homologs. Y'all know about homologs? Send up
No,
a little
no
wave
one
if you
does.
don't know about a homolog. When we are in utero, when the mom's sperm, my gosh, said that backwards.
Don't listen to
the
Melanie.
dad's sperm and the mom's egg meet up. They have a little salsa dancing party,
Right.
and we all start out the same, like a little cluster of cells, and then we start. So there's a thing called a homologs, which is so crazy. So the part of a male genitalia, parts of male genitalia are the exact same thing in a female. They're just organized differently.
Right.
So literally, like the
Indian and
mootorx.
Audi.
Indian and Audi. That was funny. So like the scrotum is a labia, the labia skin on so scrotum for a man,
Right.
labia for a woman. So those are called homologs. They are the same things. It's like Seth has a nose and I have a nose. Seth has eyes and I have eyes, right? Eyes. So it's homologs. It's the same
Those
stuff.
ovals.
It is very interesting. It's super, super cool. It's the only part of us that's different as males and females, right? It's totally interesting and fascinating and bizarro and awesome. But what you have to understand about that is what the clitoris does. The clitoris doesn't do anything. It's just there for pleasure. It literally is the one part on all bodies, all men, female, women, whatever, all things. It doesn't do anything but have a party. That is its only job. It
Right.
doesn't produce semen or eggs or do anything. It doesn't need to be there for pregnancy. It doesn't need, it has no function other than joy.
Right.
So I want you to understand, like, there's nothing to be weird about here. We're being dinkuses when we don't know what's actually going on with our bodies, and that
Dinkuses.
women of course can enjoy pleasure.
Right.
Doofus. Like,
No,
now I'm mad.
not a doofus.
Yeah, a
It's-
doofus.
So hold on. You have to go back a couple of clicks. And why do we even ask questions like this? Because culture has been centered around the pleasure and connection for the man, just the orgasm of the man, right? And so you have to take this into context because we're all hopefully trying to unlearn some negative stuff that we learned about everything, right? I think my whole life is just unlearning stuff that I've learned and learning new stuff, like right? Replacing and adding new stuff. So do you still have some more stuff on this? I wanted to go through the clearing structure to actually serve this person if they're listening.
Oh, you think that's helpful?
So the clearing structure is something you can get on our app. It centers around I statements like, I feel XYZ when you do this. So this person...
Let's open it up.
Right.
In
so this
our
person
app.
could say, my husband, so, hey, sweetheart, hey, I do have a higher sex drive. I like being with you. And sometimes I feel like left out and literally unfulfilled when we just have a quickie because, frankly, you orgasm and I don't. What I would like to see is us slow things down and both of us orgasm because you know what? I like sex. I like sex with you.
Sorry.
And that's a good thing. So this will help us have more sex and it'll be more fulfilling on my part. And what I get from that is I want to feel fulfilled sexually. And when I'm fulfilled sexually, then that
Brings
idea
connection.
of pair bonding and stuff like that. So I want this person to do the clearing structure around this thing. There's no embarrassment, there's no shame, there's no nothing. And if you tell your husband, what?
Pair bonding, like when two pairs get stuck together in the
No, not like Bondo.
If you tell your husband what?
You mean like a fruit pair?
Yeah,
oh
pears.
my goodness. So derailed me 100% just now.
You said, if you tell your husband.
If you tell your husband, more likely than not, hey, I have a higher sex drive. I'd like to have more sex. However, the type of sex I want is just not you having a quickie all the time. So let's have more sex, but let's
Well,
both
here, let
orgasm
me
kind of
say
thing.
something.
Hold on. Somebody says, just another example how God created us to enjoy sex, to enjoy our bodies.
That's not
Yes,
just somebody.
Absolutely. What's up, Delano?
Oh, hi.
What's up, Dana?
So one of the things that I think is really important to say here is that none of this needs to be said to your spouse. Like, I'm not ready down there. I'm not I'm simply a girl with sexual needs and I'm embarrassed. You don't need to say any of this to your spouse. What you need to say is something along the lines of a new invitation. It's a
Right.
new opportunity, right? Again, this is a business, this is a marketing strategy that I think applies to relationship issues so completely, perfectly, that instead of saying, you really don't satisfy me when you do a quickie, Seth. And then just standing there,
Right.
they're going to be like, okay, great, that's awesome.
What am I, a pod?
Right? Yeah, it's going to make everyone feel weird.
Right.
Instead, you don't even need to use words. You can use touch. You can say, I've set, write a little note that says, for the next 30 minutes, you're mine. That's exciting. That's teasing something out. That's new. That's different. Do something different. Our ruts, our sexual ruts that happen when we've been married for a while or whatever, are the thing that's going to make it complicated in this case. So do something different. Invite a new opportunity. Say, I'm gonna run a bath. Come join me. I'm gonna take a shower. Come join me. There's like a zillion, bajillion, trillion ways that you can invite him to give you sexual fulfillment without saying the words, you do not fulfill me sexually. You're not even listening.
Right, oops.
What'd you do?
I am listening.
Looks
I'm
like you're
trying to
in the Get Your Marriage On app.
Let's see. Do you want to do intimacy questions or different questions?
How about this one? So we're not answering these for you. We'll start the questions, but this is our conversation starters within the Get Your Marriage On app.
Let me see it. I don't know if I
We
like that one or not.
love these conversation starters. There are hundreds of them. Seth and I created them together, and these are ways to talk about. So we are in the intimacy section of the conversation starters in the app, and we've already asked this one, I think. But here's question number one. We want you to do these with your partner. So question number one. Oh, why don't you ask it?
Okay. I'll ask it and you answer it.
Great.
If we could have sex in any location, where would it be and why?
All I can think of is like somewhere warm with no breezes. Breezes make me cold.
Okay.
That's about it.
Like in that picture of Bora Bora you sent me?
Yeah.
In the water cabins? Okay.
Right.
That's a good one. Okay, one last one.
Wait, you didn't answer it. If you could have sex
Yeah.
with me anywhere, where would it be?
Anywhere. It doesn't matter.
All of the above.
In what ways have you grown sexually since we've been married? Ooh, that's a good one.
All of the ways.
Yeah, all of the ways we've learned about the biological parts of sex, the emotional parts, the spiritual parts, especially. I think that, we talked about this isn't too much information because we don't care and we share it anyway. When we were going through super hard times, we would actually pray.
Yes.
While we were doing it.
Right. And
you know what I'm saying?
The reason that let's back up and talk about that, because I was thinking about that the other day actually, is that we started, when we went through the hardest parts of our marriage back then, when Seth had looked at pornography and I had a new baby and it was just the worst. We hated each other, or I hated Seth. I think you kind of liked me, but we were trying to repair our marriage, right? We were trying to stay together. And so one of the things that we did was, when we were intimate, which was not very frequently, it was very difficult to be intimate because I was so angry, but Seth would pray while we were making love, which was amazing. I want to talk about that word making love for a minute, because I just read about it in Tina's book. Anyway, so that is something amazing that we did. So we've grown in all the ways that you can possibly grow, I think, in our sexual understanding.
I think one of the thing was asking and praying protection over.
Yes, that's
over
all we were doing was praying.
Obviously, you're naked, you're vulnerable.
Right.
In so many more ways than just physically.
Yeah.
And
so that's what he was praying about, was to, honestly, to have God protect our time together and to make sure that it wasn't
You just interrupted me.
infiltrated by demons.
Oh boy. Okay.
But anyway, I want to talk about really quick the idea of making love. So love is not a thing like a phone on the there's love on the
make a table.
The thing. You don't see love driving down the road, right? It's not a thing. And one of the things that Dr. Tina talks about is physical touch. Our bodies are the vessel in which we express our love. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. What an amazing way to say that. Even if it's your kid is sick, you touch their forehead, you feed them food. Our bodies are the expression of the love inside of us. Right. And so she talked about that idea of making love. You're actually creating a physical, tangible version of love. And I thought that was so cool. I had never heard that. So it's
you're putting that good energy out there.
Yeah.
You could make positivity or
a pie. You can make a pie. I just thought it was really cool, and I like that idea. But I did want to say, one of the most the thing that transformed our understanding, or mine at least, mostly about sex and intimacy, was interviewing Dr. Tina in episodes. I think it's 5 and 6 or something, or 7.
Oh, and going to therapy with her and recording it.
Right, going to sex therapy with her and recording it in season 2 of our show, and then going to the couples intimacy Passion for Life retreats with Northwest Institute on Intimacy, which Dr. Tina founded or runs, or I don't even know. But Dr. Tina, the author of Sex, God, and the Conservative Church, she is the person that made me go, oh, I've been missing everything. I've gotten all of it wrong. So I highly recommend, get her book. Go to Amazon and get Sex, God, and the Conservative Church. We have links on our Facebook page. We'll make more links and send them wherever. But it is worth the $40. Get over it.
And if you are a reading type and you want self-help and you want to improve, I absolutely could not recommend more highly getfaithful.com/anatomy of marriage. There you will find a licensed therapist, just like me. I am licensed in the state of Washington. And you will find a licensed therapist to do therapy with you. And you can talk about sex and intimacy. You can talk about depression, anxiety. I'm, tripping out because of COVID. I lost my job. I'm depressed. I'm having all these adjustment disorders. Go and choose your own very personal therapist at getfaithful.com/anatomy of marriage. And to have confidential HIPAA-compliant sessions with a real therapist. It's on teletherapy, just like this. It's phone, it's text, it's email. Getfaithful.com/anatomy of marriage. If you feel like you would benefit, if you could talk to somebody. And guess what? That's everybody in the world.
Right. And so I want to talk about some of the things that you can talk about with your therapist when you go to getfaithful.com/anatomy of marriage. You can talk about addiction, healing from sexual trauma. Has your marriage suffered abuse? Have you lost a child? Have you had a prior divorce and you don't know how to proceed in this relationship? You can talk to these therapists about absolutely anything. Are you addicted to food? Are you addicted to gambling? Did your mom abandon you? Everything. These are real therapists. They have all the things that Seth has and more. So don't think that this is not as great as real therapy. It is real therapy.
And let me tell you this, and here is another thing that, a way that this interface is really good. So you go to getfaithful.com/anatomy of marriage and hook up with a therapist, right? You talk with your therapist, you build a relationship. You say, you know what, I've been wanting, I think that maybe anti-anxiety medication or antidepressant medication might be helpful to me. I don't know anything about this. Therapist, tell me more, give me information. You sign a release of information that your therapist on getfaithful.com can talk to your doctor. You make an appointment with your doctor, you get those meds that you need, right? So that's a way that, like, also it's not just clinical counseling, it is psychopharmacology for the therapist can write you a referral with very informed knowledge of medicine and stuff like that. And your doctor, boom, prescribes you that med. So that's just another way that I just thought of that getfaithful.com/anatomy of marriage can be so helpful.
And let me tell you, you guys, this year I started an anti-anxiety medication, and it is a game changer. Before I was on escitalopram, I was like...
Oh, I thought you were talking about Coors Light.
Oh my gosh. Barf. But...
Coors Light, you're drinking Coors...
I love it when you crack yourself up.
So
There's nothing better than that. But before I started... I take the most smallest dose of escitalopram ever, and it is honestly so amazing how much better I feel. Delano thought your Coors Light joke was funny. So I want to encourage you that I take medication. Seth takes medication. It is not a thing to be ashamed of. We go see therapists. We get help. Use these resources. Do not let your mindset or your thoughts or your anxieties about going to getfaithful.com stop you. So go to getfaithful.com/anatomy of marriage and get the help that you need. Everyone will be better for it. My kids are definitely benefiting from me having anti-anxiety medication. So seriously.
That's right. So thank you guys for sticking in there. I love these conversations. It's fun. We are going to continue to do this as long as it's helpful. It's definitely helpful to us. So thank you for tuning in. And let's see,
we go live with John Deloney in 45 minutes.
In 45 minutes on our Instagram feed. We're going to be answering other questions, and he's a super hoot and fun to...
A super hoot. He's like a giant owl.
Thank you. We use an IV. What?
For Coors Light? I don't know what you're saying.
I hope not.
Anyway.
Love you too, Dana. Thank you for tuning in.
Before we run, we want to say thank you to all of our new Patreons.
That's right.
Patrons? You can go to patreon.com/anatomy of marriage if you want to support our show financially. And we are so jazzed. Did you remember the names?
Well, I remember one. We just got 2 new $12 donors. One of those ladies' names are Tanya. Thank you, Tanya. We got another $2 donor. So it's awesome because at patreon.com/anatomy of marriage, you can support what you like. Hey, we like Seth and Melanie. Hey, I like this other show. Hey, I like this show or this book or this author. You support it and directly help those people that are making the resources that you consume.
Yeah, and so when you support us financially like that, you can go to Patreon, like we said, patreon.com/anatomy of marriage, and you can donate whatever amount you want. It doesn't have to be $2. It can be $12 or $50 or $700. It does not matter. Whatever you want to donate, you can. But here's the thing. We do all of this with our own equipment. We buy everything. Like, we have to buy lights. We have to buy our recording equipment. My computers, all of my computers and phones are like fritz to the max. They barely work.
We need a Mac specialist quick.
We really did. And so when you support our show, you get more of our show. I know that sounds silly, but it actually is paying for us to have the equipment that we need, the lighting, everything from the stand that the phones are on. This is not normal stuff people own.
That's right. So thank you so much, guys.
Thank you for your support.
Tune into AOM Radio tomorrow, where we will answer more questions. And we love you. Stay awesome. Bye.
Yes. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye, guys.